Hello everyone and welcome to the tutorial of SolidWorks. When we open SolidWorks, this is what we see. Now in the top right, there are all the windows that we can scroll through. The most important window is the window for sketches, where we're gonna find shapes like the circle, like the line, like the basic shapes, as well as the sketch dimension, which is most of the important tool. The next page is gonna be evaluate, which means that we're gonna be able to measure once we create a 3D part. The next page is going to be Dim Expert, which basically tells you like other measurements and other values for it. And every single other page than that is like how to test the part that you have made, and for example, like changing the material of it, or testing it with like different forces acting on it, just like in Fusion 360. Now that we know this, let's create a sketch. Okay, so now that we have this, let's put a plane from the top view, and let's create a basic shape that has a circle. We can use the sketch dimension tool to set the measurement of the desired circle. And the sketch dimension is going to be in diameters for circles. Now that we have this, let's do something like a line. Let's just do something later like a square or triangle, or like basic shapes in the middle that are going to help us have like a nice introduction on how to use the program. Okay, now that we have the line, let's create a square. Let's just do this for the sake of the video. And now we can use the trim tool to cut the middle of the circle. This is a very important tool that we are later on going to use to create another object. Okay, now that we have this, we can go into features, and then we can go to extrude. This is going to allow us to take our 2D model and create it into a 3D one. Now that we have learned how to use some simple tools, let's create a real object that engineers would do, such as a bracket. So we go into sketch, then we click the rectangle tool, and then we set the square at the distance that we want. Now that we have the block and we have extruded it, SolidWorks is going to allow us to create a sketch on one of the sides of the block. So what we need to do is click the side of the block that we want to create the new sketch in, and then we can use the line tool or the rectangle tool to set up the next section of the bracket, which is going to be the base. We type in 1.25 inches for the height of this bracket, and then we are gonna extrude it 5 inches as well. Now that we have this, let's create some circles, which are supposed to be where the screw is gonna be in real life for the bracket. We create two circles, and as you could see, there is this blue line that is gonna tell us that the circle is gonna be in line with the second circle. We're gonna type in a value for the circles, and now we're gonna put them to be equally separated from each sides of the block. We can use now the extrude cut to cut the material of the circles. We just click the extrude cut, and then we select both of the circles, and then it doesn't really matter how long that line is, as long as it passes the material that you want to cut. Now let's do the same circles in the base of the bracket. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to do one circle or one hole where the screw is going to be, but you can do as many as you want if you want to recreate this piece. This hole, I want it to be right in the middle of the bracket. I use this by using the blue line as well as the little yellow square in one of the sides of the line. Now what I'm going to do is that, since as you can see the circle is a little bit above the middle of the base, I'm going to click the line that I made, a construction line, and the circle, and then with the shift button, I'm going to select the both of them, and then I'm going to say merge by midpoint. This is going to drag the circle towards the line. we can use the controls to see if we like what we see. And now let's make this bracket resistant by adding fillets. How do we add fillets? We go to the features tool, and then we're gonna see the option for fillet. And then it is very important that before we actually create the fillet, we click on full preview. This is gonna allow us to see what kind of fillet we're making, if it's gonna be too big, if it's gonna be too little. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna make the fillet that length, and I'm gonna also do each of the corners to make a really resistant bracket. Now that we have all the fillets done and the bracket looks like it's ready to be manufactured, we're gonna learn how to turn this sketch or model into a drawing. For the drawing, it's very simple. Once we have the desired object, make drawing from this part. We say okay, and now we have a blank sheet of paper. How do we add in the model? We go in the view layout part, we click a standard 3 view, and then we click on the part that we want to make the drawing. We double click it. Now we're gonna use the tool sketch dimension in the annotations bar, which is gonna allow us to show the measurements of each of the side lengths of the part, as well as the holes and everything like that. Now that we have each measuring done and the document is ready to be manufactured, we can add a title to the document. We do this by the annotation, and then we click the node button, and then we select where we want to include this node. I set it to put on the title, and the title is going to be capstone. Now all that we need to do left is click file and save as, and then you save it as a part, and the drawing, you make it as a drawing. Knowing the skills that we have learned in this video, these are just basic skills of what we actually can do in SolidWorks, which is thousands and millions of different parts. For example, this is the drivetrain for the robot that we used this year. As you can see, super complex. This assembly is made of different mates between the wheels, mates between other parts of the robot. An important thing to note is that once you're doing an assembly, if you did a mate wrong, or if there's any error with the parts, there's gonna be a red message on the left sidebar, which is gonna tell you what the error is. Most of the times, the error is gonna prevent you from keep working on the parts. You're just gonna keep adding more errors. Thank you for listening to me. Hopefully you have learned how to use SolidWorks as well as Fusion 360 for my other video, and please stay tuned because I'm gonna have a discussion on 2D and 3D models. Thank you so much. Bye.